Hello viewers, welcome to my channel History Hub. Today we will know about the history of Germany. The concept of Germany as distinct and going to the Central Europe and can use the trade and Julius Caesar, who referred and to the unconsecrated and area east of the Rhine as Germania. Those disdaining, engaging, and it was Gaul and Francis the victory of Germanic. Her tribes and battle trying the first and edge and prevent an exile by the Reformed Empire and also of Roman province of Germany. And superior and the Germania and inferior, which established along a long line and following the fall of the Western Roman Empire. The Franks and conquered the other West and Germanic and tribes, when the Frankish Empire was divided among the Charles the Great heirs in 1843. The eastern part and became the East Francia in 962 or 2 became the first Holy Roman and European of the Holy Roman Empire. The medieval and German state. In the late and Middle Ages, the regional dukes and princes and the bishops and gained power as they expanded through the empires, and Martin Luther led the Protestant and Reformation within the Catholic Church after 1517 is the northern the system estimates and straight became the Protestant will most and southern and western state and remained Catholic. The two parts of Holy Roman Empire that clashed in the third years old and 1618 and 1648, which the Iranians to the 20 millions and civilians living in the both parts. The 30 years and war wrought and tremendous and distractions to Germany. More than 1 by 4 of the population in the German state were killed by the Catholic Quake War and the states and the Holy Roman Empire attended a high extended autonomy in the space of Westphalia and some of them being the cabals of their own gain. Police were controlling land outside of empire. The most important being an Austria and Prussia and Bavaria and Saxony with the Francis and the Revolution and beyond wars from 1803 to 1815. Important the Federalism AOA became the Australian classes and centers with the humanities and which class and musics and under the music and politics and the implications of Germany, excluding Australia and the German speaking areas and Switzerland was achieved and under the leadership of the Chancellors and Otto and von Bismarck with formations and the German Empire in 1871. This resulted in the Kindness and Louis Long, a small Germany, and Coalition Germany with Australia, and after the Georgia's and Great Coalition Germany with Australia, the new and richer states, and an elected parliament one had one little limited into imperial and government Germany, and joined the other powers and in colonies, expansion in Africa and the Pacific. By 1910, Germany was a dominant power in European and continent, and it rapidly expanding the industrial supports and Britain will by provoking individual naval annexions. Germany and led by Central Powers in World War in 1914 and 1918 against France, the United Kingdom of Russia. By 1915, Italy, and by 1917, the United States, and defected by party and occupied Germany was approached was a reparations by the treaty as Versailles and was stripped at it colonies as well at the home and territories to be ceded and the two Belgians, and France and Poland, and the banned from telling German and settled the resistant Australia. The German Revolution half in 1981 and 1914 the entrant federal and constitutional monarchy, which resulted in the establishment of the weird and republican and an unarrestable parliament and democracy. In the early and 1930s, the world wide a great depression and great Germany had unemployment and suicide the people and confidence in the government. In January 1933, Adolf Hitler was appointed the Chancellor of Germany. His Nazi party and quickly established and threatened and dream and Nazi Germany and made increasingly aggressive and territorial and demands and threats of war if did not meet and remediations of the rehindered and came in 1936 and the annexion of Australia and cruises the and German and seeking and the religions and with the March and agreement in 1938 and the further territory of legislations in 1939 on September 1939 and Germany incited World War and I will European with the invention of Poland. After forming the pact with the Soviet Union in 1939, Hitler and Stalin and divided Eastern Europe and after the phony war in spring and 1940 and German force and society is the consequent and Denmark, Norway, Belgium and Luxembourg and the Netherlands and France is the first and British army and outside of Western Europe in 1941. Hitler's army and invaded the Greece and the Soviet Union. We and resistance, especially antilism, was a central feature in energy and James and Germany, but primarily in the German and occupied access and systematic and genetic programs, and now Holocaust and killed by 17 million people, including the 6 million Jews and the respecting the 2 and 3% European Jews and population of 1933 Poles and Roman the Slovenian Russian from non-Russian people and with disabilities and LGBTQ and people and German and disabilities and one other in 1942. The German invention with the Soviet Union the Federate and after the United States and entered the war and German cities and became the targets and massive allied the and bombing and raids. It was the by estimated and that in about 3 lakhs and 50,000 and German civilians were killed and 9 million and homeland drawing to the bombing and raids and allowing the a later invention of Norbury Jones and the Germany was well pushed back into the front leg and until the final collapse in May 1945 and under the occupation by the Allies and German territories were shifted and Australia was again made the separate country and Denivation stuck and placed to the wall and Cold War result in the division one the country and democratic West Germany one semester East Germany with the reduct and the establishment of water nurses and the millions ethnic and Germans and they exported the from free war and Eastern Germany is saddened and from Eastern Europe and Germans to also communist areas into the West and Germany which experienced and rapid economics and expansions and became the dominant and economy in Western Europe. West Germany and remained in 1950 under the equivalence and NATO with the access to the nuclear weapons and the France and German and friendship that became embassies the political integrations West and Europe in the European Union. In 1989, the Berlin Wall and opened the Eastern Walls and closed East Germany and reunited with the West Germany and in 1990. In 1998 and 1999, Germany was the founding of country of Eurozone and Germany remained one of the economics and portlaist of Europe and controlling over the one equators and endorse and annual the gross and domestic product in the early and 2010. Germany played a critical role in the trying and the solve and escalating and Eurocentric crisis, and specifically connecting and Greece and other southern European nations. In the middle of dedicated and the first European and class that received and system all seekers from Syria and the travel and regains. Thank you for watching my videos. Please like, share and subscribe my channel for upcoming videos. Goodbye.